ladies and gentlemen and programmers, we're going to do part 2 of lesson 2 of the little crabby. All right, where does the crab get its move and turn methods from? Well, we know that crab is an animal, right? So crab is a subclass of animal. Animal and actor are superclasses of crab. So the crab is going to inherit its methods from animal and actor. So that's the name of that's called inheritance. So where does the crab get its move and turn methods from? It inherits them from its superclasses. All right, get out this get out this handout, and then we're going to do that. So write this: a subclass inherits all the methods from its superclasses. That means that it has and can use all the methods that its superclasses define, right? So every method that was written in actor and animal the crab can use. Write that down in your notes. Okay, open the editor for the animal class and switch to the documentation view. Find the list of the methods for this class. Okay, so let's figure out how to do that. So we're going to go to our project. Okay, not that one. We're going to go here. Okay, and we're going to open up the animal. We're going to look inside the animal class. Okay, so we're going to double click on animal. And there's two things you're going to see. So you can see the source code, where you can actually see the Java code that went into it. You can see all its methods. Okay, so turn, move, at world edge, right? But we don't want the source code at the moment. We want the documentation view. All right, and so what they're asking us is, what are they asking us? They're asking us, find a list of methods for this class. That's the method summary. Okay, so here's all the things that any animal can do, and that specifically the crab can do, because the crab is an animal. He can act, he can figure out if he's at the edge of the world, he can see other objects, he can eat stuff, he can move, and he can turn. Okay, so write that down: act, at world edge, can see, eat, move, turn. Okay, and if you look at the source code, you're going to see the same. You're going to say the same things, just not in the same view. Okay. How many oh, no, don't write them down. How many methods does it have? We'll just count those up. Okay. The crab class inherits all the methods. Okay. So you have this handout. Okay. And I gave this to you. So there's nothing to write on it other than I want you to be able to look at the fact that the crab can do all these things because the crab is a subclass of animal. Okay. All right. Void and non-void return. So you're going to answer these things on a sheet of line paper. All right. What do you call a method with a void return type, such as act, eat, move? Those are commands. What does a method with a void return type return? Nothing. It just does a thing. What do you call a method with a non-void return type, such as Boolean or int? Those are questions. What does a method with a non-void return type return? Well, it depends on the return type. But a Boolean returns a true or false. An int returns a whole number. Calling a method with a void return type issues a command. Calling a void with a non-void return type asks a question. Write this down on line paper on your notes. All right. Create a crab and place it in the middle of the world. Right-click it and find the Boolean at world edge method and call in this method. What does it return? And then let the crab run to the edge of the screen and then call it again. What does it return? All right. So answer those questions. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to add a new crab, and then I'm going to right-click on the crab. And so all he can do is act from the stuff that's in his own class definition. But if I go from animal, I can say, hey, are you at the edge of the world? And he'll say, no. Okay, but if I let him run, let's let him move here. We'll let him run. Let's try that again. Let's move him. I'll just move him. He doesn't want to stay. He doesn't want to stay. If I ask him now, hey, are you at the world edge? He'll say, true, I'm at the edge of the world. Okay. Okay, so we're going to learn about conditional statements. These are important because up until now, he hasn't made any sort of decisions. He's just moving in circles no matter what. Okay, so a conditional statement is something like an if statement. So if we look at this, it says if at world edge, turn 17, and then move. Let's see what. All right, so I want you to get out this handout that says conditionals are decision statements. And So an if statement can be used to write instructions that are executed only when a certain condition is true. Okay, so if we were to write this code, he's not always going to turn. He's only going to turn if he is at the edge of the world, right? So he makes a decision. Hey, should I turn? Nope, I'm not at the edge of the world. Hey, should I turn? Nope, I'm not at the edge of the world. Hey, should I turn? Yep, I'm at the edge of the world, so let's turn. Okay, now on the other hand, so I want to point out the instructions are inside of the curly braces. So if this is true, then this code runs. Now the move is outside of these curly braces, so the move, he's always going to move. There's no conditional statement controlling the move. He's always going to move, but he's only going to turn if he's at the edge of the world. Okay. So I want you to try this code: public void act if at world edge turn 17, and then the move is outside of the brackets. Now you always have to respect the brackets, right? You start the crab class, you end the crab class. You start the act method, you end the act method. You start your if, you end the if, right? You have your move inside, the move is inside the act method. So respect the brackets. All right. Try it out, type in the code above and see if you can make your crab turn at the edge of the screen. Pay close attention to the opening and closing brackets. It's easy to miss one. Experiment with different values for the parameter to the turn method. So instead of 17, try other things. Find one that looks good to you. Place the move statement inside of this statement rather than after it. And then what is the effect, and explain the behavior that you observe if you put the move method inside. All right, let's you guys do this, and maybe I should hit pause while I type it in. Okay, so one thing I forgot to mention is I mentioned make sure you are careful with the curly braces. The other thing is be careful with the parentheses, because you have your if, and you start the if, you end the if thing here, but you also have the method at world edge. You're calling on that method, so that method also has its opening and closing parentheses. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 parentheses. Parentheses always go in pairs as well. All right, so when we do this and we run it, he gets to the other edge of the world and he turns until he's no longer at the edge of the world. So that's kind of nice. All right, now let's see what happens if we put the move inside of here. So if we go Control X, we click here, we hit Enter, Control V. So now move is inside of the if statement, inside of our control statement. So it's only going to move if he's at the edge of the world, right? So let's see what happens now. So, it doesn't like that. What did I mess up on? Compile. I erased something. Oopsie. Okay, and then I'm going to press Control Shift and I to make it look nice. So now we can see, everything's in order. All right, so we're going to compile that. It's lovely. We add in our little crab, and we hit run, and nothing happens because he only will move now if he's at the edge of the world. So watch what happens if I put him at the very edge of the world. It's kind of going to be fun, kind of weird. So he moves until he's no longer at the edge of the world. So that's not what we want. So don't leave it like that. I just wanted you to see what would happen. So I'm going to go Control X, and I'm going to hit backspace again because I have too many spaces in here. Back. Okay, and then I'm going to go after my if, and then I'm going to put that in so that move is in the act method, so it's always just going to move. Okay. Okay. Day 2 quiz. What is the name for when an object has and can use all the methods that its superclass defines? 2. If you want your crab to make a decision, what is the structure you can use? Write an if statement on your paper in your best Java on your notes. If it is raining, take an umbrella, and use correct, pretend like these methods exist in Java, write them beautifully, and then write an if statement on your paper. If it is sunny, put on sunscreen. But I want you to always skip in the sand. So the skip in the sand is not dependent on if it is sunny. Okay, write those things in your notes. Okay, now I want you to go on to part 3.